You found out, and now everything you thought was real feels like a lie. The memories, the inside jokes, the life you built together, all of it's been poisoned by one betrayal. And somehow you're supposed to just figure out what comes next. Do you stay? Do you go? And if you stay, how do you ever trust again? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how couples rebuild trust after cheating, step by step, and what actually has to happen for it to be real. Let me say something first, and I need you to really hear it. What you're feeling right now, the rage, the grief, the obsessive replaying of every moment, that's not weakness. That's a completely normal response to a trauma. Because that's what infidelity is. It's a trauma. And here's what most people don't know. Studies show that nearly 60% of couples who experience infidelity actually choose to stay together and try to rebuild. You are not alone in considering this. You are not naive for wanting to try. But here's where most of those couples go wrong. They think time alone heals it. They think if they just stop talking about it, the wound closes on its own. It doesn't. Trust doesn't rebuild through silence. It rebuilds through specific, intentional steps, and both partners have to do the work. So whether you're the one who was hurt or the one who caused the hurt, this video is for you. Because rebuilding isn't about going back, it's about deciding together to build something new. Point 1, the cheating partner has to take full ownership and no excuses. This is the very first step, and it's non-negotiable. Before any healing can begin, the partner who cheated has to stop minimizing, stop deflecting, and stop explaining away what they did. But here's what most people don't realize. There's a huge difference between saying, "I'm sorry," and actually owning what happened. "I'm sorry you got hurt" is not accountability. "I'm sorry I made a series of choices that destroyed your ability to trust me." That's accountability. That's what the wounded partner needs to hear. I've seen couples where the cheating partner spent months apologizing, but every apology came with a but. "But I was lonely. But you were working so much. But we hadn't been close in years." Those buts are poison. They shift blame. And every time the wounded partner hears one, the wound reopens. Here's your actionable step for today. If you're the partner who cheated, write down exactly what you did in plain, honest language with no justifications attached. Not to read aloud yet, just to see it clearly yourself. Because you can't own what you haven't fully faced. And if you're the wounded partner, this is what you should be listening for. Not a perfect speech, but genuine, unconditional accountability. Point 2, total transparency has to replace secrecy completely. Now this next one surprises a lot of people. Because the cheating partner often thinks the affair is over, so the secrecy is over too. But the wounded partner doesn't feel that way. And they're right not to. Trust was broken because something was hidden. So the only way to start rebuilding it is radical transparency. That means open phones, open passwords, shared locations, not forever, but for long enough that the wounded partner's nervous system can start to calm down. Because right now their brain is on constant alert. Every unanswered text, every late minute, every changed routine. All of it feels like a potential threat. I've seen couples where the cheating partner refused to share their phone, saying, "You have to trust me eventually." And what that communicated, whether they meant it or not, was "My comfort matters more than your recovery." That's the wrong choice, every single time. Your tip for today, cheating partner, offer transparency before you're asked for it. Proactively, that unsolicited openness is what starts to rewire the wounded partner's sense of safety. Don't wait for them to beg. Give it freely. Point 3, the wounded partner has to be allowed to grieve, out loud repeatedly. And this is where it gets really important, because this is the step that well-meaning couples skip, and it quietly destroys their recovery. The wounded partner is grieving, not just the affair. They're grieving the version of their marriage they thought they had. They're grieving their own sense of reality. And grief is not linear. It comes in waves, and those waves don't follow a schedule. What happens in too many relationships is this. The cheating partner, after a few weeks, starts to feel like enough time has passed. They want to move forward. They get frustrated when their partner brings it up again, and that frustration, even if it's never said out loud, sends a message. Your pain is inconvenient. I've seen couples where the wounded partner stopped talking about their pain not because they healed, but because they felt like a burden. That silence didn't mean they got better. It meant they stopped trusting that the marriage was a safe place to hurt. Your tip for today: if you're the cheating partner, the next time your spouse brings up the affair, even if it's the 20th time, don't sigh, don't look away, don't rush to fix it. Just say, "I'm here. Tell me what you're feeling." That response, repeated over time, is what safety sounds like. Point 4, you both have to build a new marriage, not restore the old one. Here's the part most couples get completely wrong. They try to get back to how things were before the affair. They think the goal is to restore what existed, but that's not possible. And honestly, it's not even the right goal, because if your marriage had gone back perfectly to what it was before, it might have ended up in the same place. The affair didn't come from nowhere. Maybe there was distance. Maybe there was loneliness. Maybe there were conversations that never happened. That doesn't justify the betrayal. Nothing does. But it does mean the marriage that existed before wasn't the marriage you needed. Rebuilding means creating something new. New agreements. New conversations you never had before. New rituals of connection. New ways of fighting, talking, and showing up for each other. It requires couples therapy. Not as a last resort, but as a serious tool from the beginning. I've seen couples on the other side of infidelity who told me their marriage was better, not despite what happened, but because of how hard they worked to rebuild. That's not a fairy tale. That's what intentional healing looks like. Your tip for today: together, make a list of 3 things that were missing from your marriage, not to assign blame, but to acknowledge them as a team. That conversation, as hard as it is the beginning of building something real. Let me tell you about a couple I'll call Lauren and Jason. They'd been married for 11 years. 2 kids, a mortgage, a life that looked fine from the outside. And then Lauren found out about the affair. She told me she didn't cry at first. She just went completely numb. Jason wanted to fix it fast. He kept saying, "Just tell me what I need to do." But Lauren didn't know yet. She was still trying to figure out if the last 11 years had been real. What saved them wasn't a grand gesture. It was Jason doing something small and consistent every single day. He checked in. He didn't push. When Lauren cried, he sat with her, even when it made him uncomfortable. He stopped defending himself and started just listening. 8 months later, Lauren told me, "I don't trust the man I married, but I'm starting to trust the man he's becoming." That shift from who someone was to who they're choosing to be, that's where real recovery lives. And it's available to you too, but only if both of you are willing to do the work. So here's what rebuilding trust actually looks like. First, the cheating partner has to take full ownership. No excuses, no buts. Second, total transparency has to replace secrecy, offered freely and willingly. Third, the wounded partner has to be allowed to grieve out loud for as long as it takes. And fourth, you have to build a new marriage, not try to restore the broken one. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 4 steps feels the hardest for your situation right now? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're still trying to decide whether staying is even worth it, whether the damage is too deep, I have a video on exactly that. Watch it next. If this helped you, please subscribe to Stay or Leave. I post new videos every week because you deserve honest answers, not just hope.